Hey, 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 welcome. It's the
Welcome.
crossover. Tocara Williams here, along
Carla
with my
Harris here
co-host.
for another set.
Already. You guys know how we do. Carla, it's NBA playoffs. NBA
Yes.
playoffs. And we've had some great games. Great
Awesome.
game.
Hey, my Heat in five, 4-1.
He did five, right?
Heat in
Five.
five. I'll take that. I'll take that.
The
I just hope
key,
my guys get back healthy though. Like that's my thing. Let my guys, let Jimmy Buckets, let them get back healthy. We'll be ready to go.
now that's important too, because I think them pulling out that victory without Jimmy Buckets and Kyle
Yeah.
Lowry definitely played a role for everybody else stepped up.
Yeah, we had some weapons. Like some guys really stepped up for us during that game, and that was awesome. And it gave them a chance to rest and heal and get some confidence. Other guys got confidence, and that's big going into the playoffs.
Absolutely, man. Take it to the West Coast real quick. The young guy, Marant,
Sick.
man. First of all, he's the most improved player in the league this year.
Awesome.
But what he's doing, like he's jumping over people. Like the dunk last night was insane,
Insane. I
insane.
would like to know what his regimen is. Like what his workout is like, his individual workout other than the team practice. He's got to be doing something for himself to be better. So I really would wonder what that's like.
Yeah, he was doing an interview and they was asking him like, what's the thing that he wants to work on for the future to maybe enhance his game, and he said just shoot the jumper consistently because right now he's getting in the lane,
Uh-huh.
he's getting in the lane and he's scoring. One thing that he is doing reminds me of D Wade early in his career. He's hitting the ground a lot.
And we were watching a few games, but anyway, it was Curry. It was
Yeah.
Steph Curry, and I was like, hey, he's got to be careful because he's hitting the ground too much. He's going to have to put on some protective equipment. He's got to change.
Yeah, hey, the ground don't move, that's for sure.
It don't give at all. It doesn't give at all. So yeah, you
Yeah,
got to be mindful of that.
doesn't move at all. So, with that, it's just like, man, I mean, it's been predicted that the Heat and the Grizzlies are going to be in the finals. That's pretty dope if that happens.
Hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Let's
I,
go.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
He did a great job in their acquisitions. In the off season. Hey, what's going on? In the off season, Sandra. In the off season, so we're ready to make that run for it.
Yeah, hey, that would be a veteran led team
Hmm.
against a young, hungry team. And I'm telling you, from what I see with Memphis, they play hard. They were down double digits in the fourth quarter, and they came back and won both games on Minnesota.
I mean, nothing but respect. But the coach in me says one game at a time. Like,
Okay,
who do we have next?
all
Oh,
right.
Philip said Golden State or Philly.
And then he said, "Are the Bucks?"
Look, we gonna focus on who may be next, and looking like the 76ers are up 3-1 or something, like 3-2, something like that. So we just next one up. We just gonna take it one game, one series at a time, and we'll be whoever is there. If we're fortunate enough to make it there, then whoever there, let's go Heat.
But you definitely got the Heat in the finals for
Oh, I got
sure.
it. I got the Heat. Of course, I'm home team 305 all day, all day, all day.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, listen, let's talk about you sent me something earlier today and we didn't get to discuss it when we did have one of our other guests on about Zaya Cook being the highest paid, one of the highest paid athletes in college sports right now
Mhm.
with the NIL. Like I think that's crazy. That's awesome. Crazy in a good way. That
Yeah.
is awesome.
I mean, crazy. It's awesome for these athletes to be able to make money off of their likeness, like to benefit from that, and not just the universities benefit from it. As an athlete growing up, we see. I'll never forget this story, and I'm a paraphrasing and maybe off a little bit, but Chris Webber, I think someone asked him when he decided to declare for the NBA, and he said when he went to KFC one day and he wanted a four-piece or something like that, and he only could get a two-piece because he didn't have enough money. And he was like, I need to go. Realizing that University of Michigan was making crazy money off of them, the Fab Five, and it's time for me to go make money off of myself. Just imagine the Fab Five.
And what
Hey,
the I could take you back even further. Imagine the running rebels of UNLV.
oh yeah,
Imagine,
that would be great.
just imagine.
Yeah. So I'm happy for these, and also I'm happy how it promotes entrepreneurship amongst these collegiate athletes, and not just the degree, which is is important. You're there, you're getting that education, but they're learning about being business owners and capitalizing and gaining funds off of in their own way, and not just getting a job. So I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think it definitely promotes, like you said, entrepreneurship and really understanding what branding is and understanding that you are your brand. So, I know a lot of times we talk about the portal and how it affects everything, but how do you feel that, having that branding and knowing that if I'm a high school athlete and I see the type of branding and promo that these collegiate athletes are getting, I think it makes me think a little bit differently of how I handle myself on social media, because now not only do I have coaches looking at me to potentially give me a scholarship, but I have companies
Right, right.
looking to pay me to market to my audience.
Well, in the words of Jay-Z, I'm a business man.
Man,
So, you are a business, and each individual and each student athlete needs to realize that they are a business. So you definitely need to carry yourself as such, because it could cost you a lot of money by having negative connotation associated with your name or your behaviors on social media. So hopefully these athletes are paying attention to what is out there for them, with the possibilities. You don't have to just leave college to say, I can take care of my family. You can take care of your family, or you can help your family right in the collegiate setting. So if they make the right moves and they're paying attention to the trends, it can be very lucrative for them.
yeah. And how big is it? Because here in Florida, our governor just um, let us know that financial literacy is going to be a part of the curriculum going forward. How big is that going to be with our youth understanding and learning financial literacy at an early age and able to capitalize on that once they do get into the college ranks, or just going into a different career? It could be trade, entrepreneurship, whatever.
Hey, shout out to our teammate Shelly for checking in and tuning in with us tonight.
Shelly,
But
you see what's going on? You see
hey,
what's going on?
so but really, T, that changes the scope of things. Like, we are going places, career days, and a lot of people are speaking about not just getting a degree, but they're letting them know that they have options. And with this type of change over into our bringing that financial literacy component into our educational curriculum, it's going to be a game changer for a lot. And let's be honest, it's going to be a game changer for a lot of brown folks,
Yes.
because in other cultures, they're fortunate enough to have parents who are educated a lot of times, and they tell them about these things, credit and business credit, and credit in general, FICO scores and things like that. They know about it, but a lot of times in our culture, black and brown culture, beige, whatever you want to call it, culture, we don't know that. A lot of times our parents and our guardians don't know, so they don't give it to our kids. And how many parents know that they can help their kids if they themselves took care of their credit score? They can help their kids have a 700, 800 credit score at the age of 18. Like, if you have good credit yourself, just add them to your trade line. Now they come out at 18, legal adult, with a 700 plus credit score. Now they can go into the world and make great moves themselves. But a lot of people don't know. So the old saying is, you don't know what you don't know, and that hurts us. So I'm excited to be able to have that integrated into our curriculum, and help some of our students to do better.
Absolutely. Hey, K St. Patrick, what's good? Yeah. So look, we definitely, man, I think it's going to be game changing. You don't have to see social media in a negative connotation all the time. I
Hmm.
think this is actually something that's good if utilized the correct way. And like you said, we don't know what we didn't know because our
Right.
parents and our guardians didn't teach us that, because they didn't know that.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you, social media actually teaches a lot of this stuff if you're following the right people, because there are many people wanting to share this information, and they do share this information and they give it away freely. Um, like they always say, if you want to hide something from somebody, put it in the book. They
Yeah.
won't pick it up and read it.
They don't say somebody. You know what they say. They don't say somebody. But I feel you. I feel you. Yeah. Put it in the book. But you know, to say that, it's like you don't even know what you're supposed to look for. Like if a teenager said, "What are you gonna say? What do I need to know to be rich?" I mean, what do you type in? But if they know specific things because they're being enlightened in school or maybe parent, um, to look up credit, what is credit? To look up interest rates, to look up the home buying process, to look up how to buy a car, finance a car, financing options. Now you're being, oh, somebody told me that. Now I know what I'm going to go on and Google what I'm gonna. So I mean, all that, just opening up that mindset, that interest, and not just the video game interest or the dating interest, because they're on social media or they're on the internet looking up other things. Now we have to peek into their minds and just try to spark that interest into the money mindset.
Let me ask you this question, Carla. Both of us have played the game. Both of us have coached the game. You're still currently coaching this game. You taught at the collegiate level as well. What are did you have mentors that kind of guided you when you played, even in coaching, and when you got a collegiate teaching, when you went into collegiate teaching? Did you have a mentor in that sector?
Honestly, no. No, and I look back over my life and I try to think about the areas in my life. I've been fortunate enough to excel in a lot of different things, but I look over and I don't really can't say I had a number of mentors. Even in the coaching realm, I have a couple of coaches I may call and ask, what do you think about this? But to say a consistent mentor, I didn't. And I wish I did. I wish I really had a consistent mentor that would have been able to help me along that process. And I would love to be that mentor for any young coach that is coming up. And I have a lot of colleagues that on the high school level that call me, and I let them know I'm available. I'm gonna share my knowledge, and they call me and discuss issues that they may be having with their players and parents, and how do you think I should. So I love to be that mentor, but myself, I didn't have that mentor for that. I mean, I would say yourself on the real estate end and T Murph, and that's the closest I've had to mentors in any type of aspect that I've business or anything that I went after.
Yeah, and I think having a mentor is very important because it kind of can guide you in what not to do
Yeah.
and what to do. It kind of save you some of those pitfalls. And it's also very good too to have someone that you can vent to, that teammate. For me, you're that teammate because again, sometimes I can get high headed. You got to calm me down.
Yeah. Yeah. We balance each other.
Yeah, I think balance is very important. And I think that plays into the mental health of the athletes now
Yeah.
because they have so much at their disposal and at their fingertips. And because it's so easy to get into things, they're not handling the pressure of life and just situations and adversity how we did when we were younger and coming up. What do you think attributes to that?
They have so much at their fingertips. I mean, they have so much, and they can see. I made a post, a reel today. I don't know. Yeah, I did make a reel. It was today about running your own race. When I was at the track meet today, I'm just like looking at the track, like run your own race, not just as an athlete, but as a person. Run your own race and stop looking at what people are posting, because the shiny object. When we said, chasing the shiny object, and you kind of get confused and say, I should be doing more. I should have more in my life. My friend just bought a house, but I still haven't bought my house. Or my friend just got a brand new Mercedes and I'm still driving this. Or whatever. They're married and I'm not married. But stop, run your own race and be grateful the race that you're in, where you're at in that race, and continue to be consistent, and the progress will come, you know?
Exactly. I think you hit it on the head with that. And what you don't see is the process that the person put in, the time they put in to get to the point they're at. Nothing is overnight. I mean, the lotto, but how often can you catch that?
Right. And how many of us really post the negative? Like, we don't post the pitfalls. Nobody really is glorified. Like, hey, I failed 5 times at this venture. Nobody really posts that. They only post the shiny award they get or the nice check they got. They didn't tell you how many times they failed in order to get to that check, or how many no's they got in order to get to that yes. They don't post that part. They just tell you, oh, I got it yesterday. I got this contract signed. You done sent out about 20 contracts and you found, but you don't post that part, So we just got to stay focused on our race, pace ourselves, set our goals, continue to be grateful for where you are, because in order to have more, you need to be grateful for the little you do have. And then you'll be able to move on and get more.
Absolutely. Candace Jones hit it on the head. Be thankful for what you have and not what you don't have,
Yeah,
because it's
it's
coming.
coming. That's it. That's it, Kay. That's it.
Yeah. It's always coming. It's if you stay, number one, faithful. I think you got to stay faithful in prayer, and then I think you got to stay consistent in action,
Yeah.
and it will happen for you because everything has a season.
Yeah.
It may not be your season at the time, but if you just keep doing what you got to do, your fruition will come. There are no instant results on the road to success. It
Yeah.
just isn't. Like when you first picked up a basketball, how good were you?
Not very good at all. Not
I
very
know I was double dribbling all over the place.
just I was just athletic, and then I'm trying to figure everything else out. And then I just stayed with it and stayed consistent, and hey, great things were able to happen.
Yeah. And I think, we all have natural and God given abilities that we do things just effortlessly. And you're gonna do those things better than everybody else because you're blessed with those talents.
Right.
And no one could take that away from you. So I think that we have to learn how to tap into those talents. And number one, find out what those talents are or what those strengths are and really just double down on those. Because my coach, Gary Blair, just retired last year from Texas A&M this past season. One thing he used to always say is, why are you working on your weaknesses? You want to have a bunch of strong weaknesses? It's like,
Mm,
makes sense, coach.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I get, you wanting to kind of build those weaknesses that you have up a little bit, but
Right.
is it worth it?
Right.
Or is it just worth working on your strengths?
I tell you what, I remember being a high school player, and Candace Jones, she can attest to it. I'm gonna drive to the basket. I didn't have the best shot in high school. Didn't have the best shot in high school, but I'm gonna get to the basket. I'm gonna play with a lot of energy. And everybody that played against me knew she's gonna drive to the basket. So, but I was still able to get to the basket.
Right.
I worked on my shot later. So I was, to go to what you're saying, is I was strong with my strength. I stayed with my strength as I continue to try to work on my weakness. But hey, if this working, I'm going to use it. I'm going to benefit from it. That was it.
Right. I can attest to that too. See, to be honest with you, man, even in the WNBA, my shot wasn't there because when I was at A&M, I could get to the basket with ease.
Yeah.
So I was fast enough to get by anybody. And in the league, I really had to work on my shot. I put the time in with one of my coaches. We would spend an hour before practice, an hour after practice, just form shooting, working on the shot. I didn't shoot anything past the 3-point line. It was
Yeah.
like free throw line and below.
Yeah.
But with the repetition and the work we put in, it changed my shot. And over time, it got better.
Yeah.
And that gives you more confidence as you're doing stuff. So I think for a lot of people, it's just continuously doing the repetition and putting in the work, and you will see the results.
Gotta be willing to put in the work, be consistent, and it'll come. It'll come.
Hey, Candace said couldn't stop that drive.
Man, those battles we had Candace way, I tell you.
Man. So yeah, I think we do have a special guest coming on. She will be joining us in a few. Susan Summons, a legend in her own right. Man, she was coaching when I was playing. Carla, I know you've seen her over the years. Like, what has your experience been with her?
Coach Summons is a legend. She's a GOAT in her own right. It was crazy growing up. We were when I was in high school, we would drive all the way down. Well, I wouldn't drive, but I got a ride all the way down to Miami-Dade South to play pickup ball. Like, we had some great pickup games at Miami-Dade South. Sometimes we would go to Palmetto High School. God bless the dead. With Coach McKinney would open up the gym, and we would play games all day on a Sunday, just playing. But Coach Summons she's coached some great athletes. She's excelled on that JUCO level. Just a legend, man. She's done so many things, and she's blessed so many young ladies and helped them to excel on to the next level in life. So, man, it's an honor to have her on tonight, to be able to tell her story and get people out that if you didn't know her, you're gonna meet a great person, a great coach, a great just legend in the game of basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to have a pioneer and someone of her stature just to share the knowledge that she's going to bring. Like, I can't wait for her to come in. She's in the studio somewhere waiting, trying to find her to bring her on.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we'll get her in here rather soon. Anything else you want to touch on?
But while you working on getting coach in, I think a very important key that we need to focus on too, not just with our athletes, but all of us as individuals, the mental health and being mindful. I mean, I think the pandemic we went through, COVID. I think as a teacher, I see a lot of change in a lot of our students and athletes, where just coping with the mental part of the pandemic and being detached from people for so long, and now coping on being back together. And I think everybody needs to take the time to recognize their own state and dealing with their different traumas, that they have gone through in life, and the traumas that were caused during the pandemic. A lot of people lost a lot of loved ones during the pandemic, so that their lives will never be the same. But if we don't deal with those things, we don't recognize, we have to stop the stigma of mental health in our communities and let people know it's okay to seek assistance. It's okay to get into therapy. And it actually, I recommend it, even if you don't think you have any traumas. I think it's good to get into therapy with someone, to talk, just an unbiased person, just to get those things out and to learn some different coping mechanisms when stressors are triggered at work or business or in relationships, and then help us to be able to deal with them better. Even our teenagers, I said parents and coaches. My team that went 32-0, we had a sports psychologist. I was innovative that, I'm trying to get back, into it. I reached out to Barry University. I reached out to several, but Barry University answered, and they had a sports psychology program. And so they were willing to get their student, like they signed one of the students up, like, hey, she's like, I'll take on the team. So she would come over like twice a week. I would cut out some of my, like, 30 minutes of my practice time for them to sit with her, not with me. She would take them into the other side of the gym, and really just talk with them and discuss the issues that they were having with the team. And I think that really helped us bond. And we ended up going 32-0 that year, winning the state championship. So I really say that it's helpful to deal with those mental things and help the team and help yourself as an individual.
All right, all right. So without further ado, hey, listen, the devil was busy trying to keep us apart, but guess what? We
Here we
got
go.
special guests. Hey, coach.
Hey,
Coach.
how you doing?
All right, all right. So great to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you. Yeah, the devil, the devil is always busy and he's always working. It's been a double-edged day today. I started out with going to the clergy luncheon for Commissioner Paula Velad in
Hmm.
North Miami Beach and spent the day up there with her team and her staff and Michelle Hastings, and then drove back down here, uh, went into another meeting, and then was getting ready for your crossover session.
Let's go.
Yes. Yes,
So,
coach.
sometimes you're in the huddle a little bit longer than you want to be, or you're in a timeout a little bit longer than you need to be, and you always have to be able to adjust.
Well, we used to
Because
being able to pivot.
yeah,
Sometimes you got to pivot. So it's nothing wrong with that. Delayed but not denied. So we're excited that you're here.
absolutely
That's right, coach.
crossing over, and crossing over low.
That
Below
dribble
the
low,
knees,
right?
right?
That
Below
dribble
the
low.
knees.
It's
Coach,
it's
tell us, what does the crossover mean to you in your life?
Well, first of all, the first thing I want to do is cross over and give a thank you to the Heavenly Father and Jesus above.
Amen.
Yep.
First and foremost, I want to thank him for being here in this moment with you, watching you cross over. I want to thank him for my wellness and my health, because without your health, you got nothing.
Yes.
Yep.
And I want to thank him for giving me the vision and the spirit of gratitude. and being thankful.
Yeah.
And it's so important. But when I think about crossover, there's a lot of connotations to that, not just relating to basketball, but in life.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Tim Hardaway, number 10 with the baddest crossover, is crossing over into the Naismith Hall of Fame.
There we go.
Yes.
Well
Yeah.
deserved.
Okay. I mean, we got a March Madness crossover. The South Carolina Gamecocks just crossed over into another national championship.
Absolutely.
Don Staley crossed over into the 22.7 million 7 crossover contract,
Right. Right. Right.
which
Right.
which really helped to elevate the women's game. Women right now in America, in the globe, in the world, are crossing over everywhere.
Yeah.
In life, in their profession, in leadership roles, in CEO positions, in podcast hosting,
There you go.
in administrative positions, WNBA, NBA, NFL. They're crossing over at an elevated level. So this is the year of the woman.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
I'm going to keep it real. Women, empowering women. It's so important. And I just want to share with you 3 points as it relates to crossing over as women and women leaders in this globe. Regardless of the profession, sports, we happen to be in the sports profession, education profession, but it could be an engineer,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Yep.
Could be a doctor,
Yep.
could be the vice president of the United States.
Talk to him, coach.
It
Right.
could be the WNBA commissioner.
Yeah.
Yep.
But one thing as women we have to do is we have to speak up for what's fair.
Yep.
We have to be able to do that. We have to also speak up for what's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's important. Even on your job, in your profession, with your colleagues, with your boss, with your manager as a woman, it's okay to be assertive and be heard. You deserve a seat at the table.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
And then the third point is speak up to be heard. Take your voice and elevate it.
Love
Yeah.
it.
I love it. I love it.
So those are just some key points, 3 points that I would share with you, and some other concepts related to what the crossover means to me. And then lastly and finally, crossover. I have been crossing over for decades, as you both know.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I have just been fortunate and blessed to be able to continue to cross over with each wave, with each sunrise, with each blessing in every facet and every profession. I remember I was sitting in the gym one afternoon when the late, great Kay Yao, we were sitting together. We all know Kay Yao at North
Yes.
Carolina State,
Yes.
former Olympic coach. And she was a very good friend of mine and mentor to many. But I remember her and I was sitting in the gym one afternoon and we had this conversation. And Donna Lupiano, at that time, who was the executive director of the Women's Sports Foundation, Donna Lupiano, was also at the game because it was the National AAU Championships
Okay.
when Lisa Leslie was playing for OGDL, the California team.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. That
And
was
they
my
had it
time.
right here. Yes, they had it right here in Miami. And Donna Lupiano and Kay Yao said to me, don't just try to be great at one thing.
Mm.
Mm.
Be great at a lot of things.
Wow.
It's a pretty powerful statement.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In other words, what they were saying was be good at a lot of things. If you're good or the best, or your best is your best of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you'll always be employable.
That's right.
You'll always have a job. So crossing over for me has never stopped. I was listening to an interview that Don Staley had recently, a week ago. And And they mentioned in the interview, one of the questions they asked her was, what drives you? What motivates you? And she talked about a story about how, in her neighborhood and how it was rough, and there was always a challenge when she was growing up. And I could really identify with that because I'm from Roxbury.
Right.
That's the hood. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm very proud.
That's right.
Because Roxbury is a part of who I am. It's what made me strong. It's what's given me that crossover.
There we go.
That crossover spirit to keep crossing over. When you accomplish one dream, you go after another and you don't stop.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what crossover means to me. And that's what allows me to stay motivated and keep motivated and continue to inspire people all around the world. It doesn't stop. God ordered my steps.
Woo.
That's deep.
In the crossover, when I was crossing over a long time ago.
Love it.
And all of these moments in the journey are all a part of those visions that I was getting as a teenager, as a college player, as an All-American, as a pro player, as a professor, it's not about me. It's not about the awards. It's not about the accomplishments. It's about the lives that you change. And both of you know that very well.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Coach, you've been coaching many years, and you've coached some outstanding players and been able to help transform some lives. How do you equate or the change in today's athlete compared to some of the teams and players that you've coached throughout the years?
Well, that's a great question, Carla. Obviously, like the game, that changes over time.
Yeah.
Players change over time as well. The generation of that player, the values that player has garnished, that they grow up with or that they acquire along the way, that changes too. And with those changes, you have to, as a coach, an educator, and remember, I'm an educator first. I'm a professor and a head women's basketball coach. So I've always had a very unique dynamic and role. But it's a different process. And it's important to hold players accountable. Now, I don't want to, I might ruffle some feathers, but I like
some toes.
And I might hurt some toes, but this is the crossover.
Right.
This is the crossover, Coach. Talk to him.
So we might as well just cross it over.
There we go.
But, it's important that we hold players accountable to own their own stuff.
Exactly.
Accountable to be responsible. Accountable to understand that a college coach has awarded you a scholarship to pay for your education.
Come on, Coach.
And back in the day, that was valued. When a coach, as a player, when you had an opportunity to earn a scholarship to pay for your education, because you may have had a situation where perhaps your parents couldn't afford it. I know my parents couldn't afford it.
Right.
Because we were in the welfare line. We were on Medicaid. I was getting food stamps. I was standing in the line with my mom. So I was trying to figure out, how was I going to go to college? How was I even going to pay for that? And when a college coach saw me in California at the Adidas Semi-Pro League, and I had just dropped 28 points, I got a college offer. And they said, we got a scholarship for you. I didn't even know what that meant at the time. I just knew that somebody who was coaching at the university level thought enough of me to say, you know what? You could be a great player at the NCAA Division I level. At that time, it was AIAW, right before the NCAA adopted the AIAW and they merged. And I said, a scholarship, does that mean my education is going to be paid for? And they said, yes. I said, does that mean I can get a degree? Yes. I said, I'm all in.
Yeah.
I didn't know where. I didn't know when. There wasn't no visits at that time. And you stepped out on faith. And that's what I did. I stepped out on faith from Boston all the way to Texas.
Wow.
And the rest is history. But holding players accountable to understand the magnitude of the opportunity they're getting, seizing the moment.
Yep.
Gratitude and being grateful for having your coach that has awarded you the scholarship, that cares about you, not only as a player, but as a human being.
Yes, absolutely.
And, not everybody can play at the Division I level. And playing at the junior community college level, I'm a junior community college graduate. I went to 2 national junior college championships as a player, and then I took a junior college team as a coach back to the national championships.
No, that's right, Coach.
And the junior community college has always been a viable educational alternative to earn a degree and then go through another door to get to Division I. I mean, look at President Biden. Jill Biden is a community college advocate.
Wow.
So it's very important and relevant, especially in this time. And the reason it's just as important in this time, if not more important, and both of you can identify with this, and I'd like to get your thoughts and feedback, is you now fuse in, NCAA legislation has fused in the transfer portal.
Oof, we have it on the list, Coach. We have it on the list.
And I might be a little bit ahead of the bullet list, but it just seemed just natural to chime in, because that portal and that legislative piece is going to change everything. It's already, you both know, it's already changing the whole process as we might know it today and as we knew it 5 years ago or 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
And it's going to become even more important and relevant that player is accountable.
Absolutely.
For ownership, because you've got the transfer portal, and the Division I coach, they can exercise their option. Players can exercise it. I call the transfer portal the free agency for men and women.
That's the truth, Coach.
That's what it is. Free agency. Yeah.
It's free agency. And they've been moving towards that, for a few years now. There's been discussion, there's been deliberation, talks, but it's finally here. But it's free agency for men and women.
Yeah.
To move around, to exercise their option.
Right.
And coaches at the end of the year exercise their options too.
Absolutely.
They're crossing over too.
Yep, that's true.
They're saying at the end of the year, well, I'm going to cross over low.
Right.
You better go high. Yeah.
And so it has created a whole different dynamic to the women's game.
Yep.
That you will continue to see unfold.
Yes.
Just like the computer age and social media.
Yes.
Look at all of the trends and the changes. And of course, we all know as educators that with changes, first of all, change is always good. Because it means you're growing.
Absolutely.
But with change comes an adjustment.
Yep.
Also with change comes sometimes triumphs, victories, and some tough moments.
Yes.
And the transfer portal, the free agency, is already unfolding some of those victories for some, and some tough moments for others. Look at March Madness and the NCAA and the parity. The transfer portal already has impacted these Division I university teams that didn't have that level of parity a year or 2 years ago. They got it now.
They sure do.
They are crossing over now.
Yes.
Yes.
Because they're competing. I mean, think about it. One university program alone took 4 players out of the portal. While they were commentating the March Madness games, they talked about how impactful the team was
Of those
The
players.
portal.
of the portal.
Yep.
So you already see the changes happening and occurring, not only at the high level, but now at this level, high school players,
Oh yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble.
they're in trouble. Junior college players,
Yeah, that's another one.
it's another level.
Mm-hmm.
And then how about the category of the player that commits to be in the portal
Mm-hmm.
and they don't get picked up?
Ooh. Ooh.
Is that real?
That's
Yep,
very real.
very real.
That's a reality.
Everyone, it's not enough room. It's too many, so somebody's going to get left out, and then you can't turn around and say, "Take me back." I mean, how does that work?
Have you ever seen a crossover that crossed back?
I ain't see that unless I put a double crossover, coach.
Yeah,
That's the only way that
I
happens.
know. Oh, unless you're using the Euro step out of the crossover.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't know how that's going to work. And I was on a show last week and I had someone ask me, well, how does it feel? What do you think a player is thinking if they're already thinking transfer portal and the season is already ongoing?
During the season.
In the season.
In the season. Yeah.
I want you to think about that for a moment. And anyone that's listening to this podcast show, whether it's an athlete or a teacher or coach, an educator, we're crossing over today. So
Yes.
we might, the basketball might just drop on your foot. But what about that player who is in the season? The season is ongoing. They've already made the decision mentally that they're going in the portal.
Yeah.
Which means they're not really committed. They're not, I'll use the word, they're not invested.
Yeah.
They checked out. They've checked out.
They already checked out.
Yep.
They're just buying their time.
Right.
Which means if you already checked out, you're not going to possibly give 100%. It's almost emotionally and mentally impossible to do that if you haven't bought in and you're no longer invested.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So who are you? Who's impacted by that? You, the team,
Yes, the coach,
the coach, the program, because this is a team sport.
It is.
So there are a lot of dynamics, Carla and Tocara, that really are going to unfold over the next year or two to come as it relates to the transfer portal. But March Madness had a lot of sizzle.
Yeah, it did.
Awesome. Yeah, it was awesome.
And the WNBA draft was on fire.
Yes.
I mean, we've waited how many years for them to decide that women deserve to have the March Madness right, just as the men?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
Really? It's long overdue.
Well, you're a pioneer in that, Coach. Like you played in that early pro league, and so you've been able to see and watch how the game has transcended over the years. So I was really proud and amazed at what they put on for the draft. I thought it was great. I thought it was great how they televised the women's championship game. The crowd in there looked, amazing. So it was great for the women's game to finally be honored in a way that every young lady who was drafted in that first round was able to sit there with their parents or loved ones and walk that stage like the men. Of course, the checks aren't the same. We'll work on that, but we made some progress.
We have. And it was really great to see. I mean, ESPN statistically showed record attendance in 3 different women's sports. Just this year alone, record media attention and attendance,
Yeah.
which is huge for women's sports, basketball, softball. I mean, it was incredible. So, yes, there's been an elevation. The checks, they'll get the checks and balances and deposits.
Yeah. Keep working on that.
They'll have to keep working on that. Ching ching. But it's unfolding and it's happening. And what's important is that women steadfast
Mm-hmm.
and they continue to speak up for what's right and
Yep.
speak up for what's fair and speak up for what's due.
Yep. Long
And it's
overdue.
long overdue, and it's okay. And, you know, you get hired because you do a great job and you're the best candidate.
Absolutely. That's it.
I mean, that should be it.
That should be it.
But nevertheless, you want to continue to keep crossing over. Interesting. There's been a great many of players that I've had the privilege and honor to coach over the years and mentor and love as daughters. And there's so many in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County, and all over the country. You know, Charmaine, Nevada, Carla Westmore.
But you start naming, you got to get in trouble because you
I
have
know.
a long list. So
Yeah,
you have
you know,
a long list.
I just wanted to open up with a teaser,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to shout out to everyone, you know, to say, you're champions.
Mm-hmm.
You are a champion for life. You are an empowered woman. You are a leader in this country. And you deserve everything that you request that you're sitting at the table for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And feel good about it.
Yeah.
And feel proud about it. That's what I would say to the many, many great champions that I've worked with over the years. There's been some amazing WNBA players. And of course, speaking of the WNBA, and I know both of you would share this point, the WNBA needs some expansion teams.
Yes.
And they need to perhaps look at expanding the roster or both.
Yes. I would agree.
You have so much more parity now, and there's a lot more players, a lot more talent, but not enough teams.
Yep.
What happened to the WNBA Miami Soul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Orlando Miracle.
Or
We
the,
had two teams. We had two teams.
I
in
think
play.
now we can maybe now is a time that we can go back and revisit those teams or those opportunities, you know, so we can give more young ladies an opportunity to live that dream. Because I think we have enough talent. We have enough talent. Yeah.
we do. I really think we do. And I think what we're going to see in the next year or two, I think we're going to see the WNBA looking at an expansion teams. And I think you'll also maybe look at maybe adding 2 more roster spots.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
More roster spots to each team,
Yep.
and then adding an expansion team or 2.
Yes.
Because we need to get you on one of these committees. You know, you got to get in there and start helping some of this legislation take place.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I was talking to Marant Meadows, and, you know, we had that conversation. And, you know, who's to say you may see me crossing over?
Hey.
Crossing over, I you know, you never know where you may see me, but obviously I'll be in the sports arena with women's sports, helping them to continue to magnify their voice and elevate their voice for change and success and leadership and gender equality.
Yes.
Absolutely.
and equal rights across the board. It's so important. So you may see me on the WNBA floor.
Let's go.
Hey, let's go.
You
Let's
know,
go.
and but in the meantime, I'm so honored to be on the show with you, Carla and Tocara, legends in your own right. Young people look up to you on your accomplishments and what you've done, and you have magnified gratitude.
Yes, definitely. You have a lot of you got some players on tonight too, Coach. Watching Candace Jones.
Candace made it happen.
Yeah, Coach.
I mean,
we got
listen,
love for you, Coach.
oh, listen, much love for all of them, and I can't possibly name everyone. I
No.
think they know that and they understand that because they know my spirit. But
Yeah.
listen, I'm sending them much love, and all I can tell you is, look, how to overcome. Here's just some small tips. If you go to my Susan Summons YouTube channel and subscribe,
Let's go, Coach. Let them know.
go right now and subscribe to Susan Summons YouTube channel.
T, can we type that in the chat box?
You could type it in the chat box.
All right, we're
And
gonna
I
put it in
need
the chat box.
anyone watching the show to go right now, get your phone out, get your computer out, and go ahead and subscribe to the Susan Summons YouTube channel. And you'll catch some of these shows that I'm doing, but you'll also catch some motivational tips and success strategies. But here's 3 on how to overcome some life challenges. And I've identified 7, but I'm only going to give you 3. And this is from 39 or 40 years.
Wow.
Hey, Coach, they got to subscribe to get the other 4. So yeah, just drop it. You got to like and subscribe to get the other
there you
4.
go. That's
Yeah,
it.
look,
So
teaser.
subscribe.
I
You'll
need a
get the
teaser.
other 4. You'll see those 7 on there. But I'm going to give you 3.
All right.
The first one is, anyone listening, write this down. Be grateful and thankful with gratitude, because when you're thankful and you're grateful, it promotes a healthy attitude.
Yep.
Everything in life reflects back on your attitude, a healthy attitude. You have a mind shift. I talk about that in my book, A Mind Shift. I have a book launch coming in November.
All right. We want all of it, Coach. Drop all of it. Go ahead.
And you know, and you feel good and you feel positive. The second strategy is something simple but powerful. Is love yourself.
Ooh, love that. Love that.
You know, I just don't believe that we do a good job of loving yourself. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah. Woo.
I told you I was bringing God tonight.
Hey, bring them.
Bring
Pass
them.
the offering plate soon, Coach.
Be kind to yourself, because everyone has that inner child
Yep.
that was once 1 year old, riding that tricycle or learning how to crawl or learning how to walk. Be kind to yourself. Self-care. Self-care is the essence of self-success. You have to have it.
Yeah, I love it.
And point number 3, because the rest you'll have to get on the YouTube channel.
That's right.
Is faith with resiliency. Faith with resiliency. Now, faith is something you just know, because faith is like the mustard seed. We know the mustard seed is one of the smallest seeds. And in the Bible, it is the smallest seed. But when you plant it in the ground, it has the biggest harvest.
There we go. There we go.
Coach.
So faith, and if you take that with resiliency, the ability to be resiliency is talking about your ability as a woman, as a person, as a human being, as a player, as an athlete, to bounce back
Mm.
from your adversity. Whatever that adversity is, whatever those challenges are that you face. And we know on this show, there are a lot of challenges that we face, but there's also distractions that we got to kick out the door.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
But you got to have resiliency to bounce back. Not excuses,
Tell them, coach.
not excuses 101. Oh, I heard that one before. What was that? The piece of paper got stuck
Yeah.
in the gas. I went to Starbucks and I got a frappuccino and the coffee spilled on the paper. I thought I packed both sneakers, but I only got one sneaker.
Coach, you've heard them all throughout your career, I am sure.
Yeah.
So faith with resiliency is powerful. And the more resilient you are and the higher level of faith you have, the more successful you become.
Mm.
Yes.
Because you don't lose energy on the negative energy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So if you want to catch the rest of that, you'll have to subscribe
Yeah.
It
to the
is.
Susan Summons YouTube channel
There it is.
or catch me on another show.
No, coach, they gotta subscribe. There's
Yeah,
no
they gotta
option.
subscribe.
You gotta get those. You gotta get those followers up.
You can't put that out on another show, coach. You gotta lead them back to where you want them to go. Hey,
So subscribe to the Susan Summers YouTube channel. And, Maya Angelou, we all know the great late poet Maya Angelou. One of her poems and one of my favorite is Still I Rise.
mhm.
And when you read the words to that poem, if you look at the content, it's very profound. Still, you are rising.
Mm-hmm.
And every day when you're on Realtors, power up,
Power up, baby.
power up, baby.
Yeah.
You are rising. Every day that you wake up and you thank God for being able to wake up, because we all rest in peace, RIP, because we lost a lot of people over the last 2 years in this pandemic.
Yes, ma'am.
And there are some people that lost loved ones,
Mhm.
including myself. And there may have been some people that had the COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But an old-fashioned statement says, what doesn't kill you makes you strong.
Yep.
And it just gives you an opportunity to step back and reflect.
Yep.
Take your shopping cart, go down the aisles, and see what you're missing in your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
We all shop maybe at Publix, I don't know.
Mhm.
But when you go down the aisle, there's groceries on those aisles. But in your life also has aisles.
Yes, ma'am.
And you got the shopping cart. You are in control of the shopping cart
Come
Yep.
on now, coach.
that you wheel every day. And sometimes you're on empty. You're on E. Well, listen, if you expect to continue to rise with the essence of success, you have to fill up your shopping cart
Come on now.
Yep.
and you have to take inventory of what you're missing. Just like you got to stop in the gas station and you put gas in your car because it's empty, you have to stop in the gas station of life
Yes,
and fill up.
coach. Man,
To the people, coach, you dropping gems on the people tonight, and we appreciate that it happened right here on the crossover. We appreciate it, coach.
So I wanted to bring it hard and bring it real to you. I'm so proud and honored to be on your show, The Crossover. You're doing a great job in the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep rising up. Don't stop.
Oh no.
And we won't.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And be humble.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
You know,
Have to.
Patti LaBelle says, always reach back and pull someone through.
Yes.
You know, you help people. We're in the serving business.
Yes,
Mhm.
we are.
We're in the serving industry is what we're in. It's really a ministry.
Yes, it is.
And
Coaching is
that,
a ministry. Yeah,
yes,
definitely.
it's a ministry. And you know, someone asked me, how are you able to, they said, gosh, you don't even look like you don't look like you've been doing this for 40 years. I said, and I don't feel like
That's good.
I've been doing this for 40 years. And it's because God has blessed me because I continue to bless someone else.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And that's what it's all about. And as long as I continue to do that and keep God first,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't worry about the naysayers
You
They're gonna
cannot.
talk anyway.
because they're going to talk anyway. And you know what? You can't worry about that. You have to stay focused and you have to be that racehorse that has visors.
There we go.
Here's another metaphor. If you know anything about racehorsing and the racetrack, one of the reasons and the main reasons those horses wear the visors is so that they don't see the distractions or hear the distractions on the left or right side.
Woo.
Hey, talk to him, coach.
So decide, you're a racehorse, and if you are, you got visors on. That means you don't have time
To look around.
to look around.
Yes.
You only have time in the race to run your race and get to the finish line in front of you. Keep
Yes.
your eye on the prize. And that's something a coach tells her players all the time at every level of the game, WNBA included. Keep your eye on the prize, focus, and compete. That's what you have to do.
Yep.
Love it. Of course, we're coming to the end of our time. Unfortunately, I would don't want it to end, but we're coming to the end of our time. But we have what we call the hot cross zone. It's like a 30-second little shoot 5 questions at you. And you
Questions.
give us your response, your rapid response, some little basic questions, nothing really too in depth. So, you ready?
I'm ready. Cross it over.
All right, let's go. So, what's your favorite food?
Spaghetti.
Boston. You a Boston lady? What? Spaghetti. All right. Dessert or no dessert?
No dessert.
No dessert. All right. You like to play fast or you like to play the slow game and on the court?
I like to play the fast game. I'm a Lakers
I'm
Celtics.
gonna put that pressure on them. Let's
Yeah,
go.
I'm putting that pressure on. I'm gonna try to drop 100 points on you.
All right. You got to pick. You want your point. You need. You got 2 players. You get to pick. You need your point guard or you need the post. Who you got first?
Well, the point guard is the floor general, so I'm gonna go with the point guard first because, in the March Madness, every team that was successful had a tremendous point guard. And look at Destiny Henderson and what she did.
Yes,
She
ma'am.
led
So
the way.
it starts from the top.
Yeah.
Come on
Yeah.
now.
Come on now. Hey. All right. Last question. Number 5. Who will be the NBA champion? In your opinion, who do you see getting that ring this year?
Well, Miami Heat looks good. They got a lot of pieces. They got a lot of depth,
Yeah.
and they're playing well right now. They're playing with chemistry. But the Bucks
Ooh.
got a monster.
Yeah, they do. They do. They do.
He's from another planet. Where he's from. Phoenix, they don't have Booker right now. So I'm leaning towards the Bucks or maybe the Miami Heat in that NBA Finals.
All right.
You definitely stayed on the East Coast. Championship stays on the East Coast.
Definitely. We're trying to get it to stay on the East Coast anyway.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we really, truly, you dropped some gems. I want to see if I can remember the 3. One was to
I got you. Check this out. Boom. Here you go.
be grateful, thankful, and show gratitude. And number 2, which I think is major, and it resonates with me, because I think being such a giver sometimes, but to love yourself. A lot of times we don't put enough into ourselves and loving ourselves. And if I'm not the best version or the best for myself, how can I be that for anyone else? You know,
Absolutely.
and the third one, you said faith and resilience. Like you got to have faith. You got to believe that it's possible. And no matter the storms that come, you got to stay resilient to be able to push past them. I'm going, hey, I'm going to subscribe so I can get them 4, 5, and 6, and 7.
Yes.
Hey, listen, Coach has motivated me. I'm on this podcast right now with 2 authors, notes from a coach and the Hall of Fame legendary Susan Summers. So I'm slacking. Let me get my laser beams on. I'm ready. I'm
Hey, get your visor on. You got to get your visor on that racehorse.
Well, listen, I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show with you on your debut, and you've had some great cast on. You know, my boy Mark Strickland.
Yeah.
You know, the other one, Octavia Blue, beautiful. Yeah, just so keep going, keep rising. You know, the sun is shining on you, and what can I tell you? Keep crossing over.
Yeah. We're going to pray for you, and you pray for us as we all take this journey, continue this journey.
Absolutely. And, when I cross over, I'm going to keep crossing over low because we all know the lower the crossover, the tougher it is to defend.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
And if the defender's got to go down too low,
you're going to fall. You're going down.
You going down. There it is.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate you. And you stay blessed. And you guys make sure you go like and subscribe to Coach Susan Summers' YouTube page. And we really appreciate you being here tonight and dropping those gems. You stay blessed, Coach. You stay blessed.
Stay blessed as well. And I'll talk with you guys again. And don't forget, you can also go to the SusanSummonSpeaks.com website. And in the upper right-hand corner, you can click and subscribe and you can like.
And we're gonna run it back when that book get ready to drop. I think we need to run it back so we can definitely do some advertising and get some notice and some information out. Let the people know what's coming out. So you just stay in touch, and we're gonna bring you back on for that book launch as well.
Definitely, and much love again to all of the many players around the country, the state, the community, the coaches. Much love to you. You keep crossing over and keep shining that light.
There we go.
Thank you, Coach. You be blessed, man.
Coach. Thank you. Have a good night.
Night.
Man. Listen.
Hey.
When I say gems were dropped.
Yeah. If you missed that, you just wait. We're gonna run it back. You definitely missed a treat. Coach was amazing. I tell you the wisdom. I didn't grow up with my mom and grandmother, but I love being around wise people, and to be in a space with a Coach Summons and a legendary and her legend, man, that this wisdom just dropping. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And it's nothing like it. That wisdom you can't pass up. If you're in this game as a player, as a coach, and you study this game and, you talk about one of the greats of the game, she has to be in the conversation. And her willingness to give, share, mentor. I've met her several times, and she let me try on her Hall of Fame ring, and it got stuck on my finger. I was like, "Oh, Coach, this means it got to stay." But we were able to get it off. But man, it's just like, wow, she's a breath of fresh air, always full of energy, and she's gonna provide. Man, you heard it. You heard it today. You heard it today.
Yeah, so definitely go like and share her page, and we're gonna run it back. We're gonna run it back with Coach when she get ready to drop that book, so we can bring that knowledge to the people. I love the fact that she's comprising that information, her wealth of knowledge, and her years of experience to be able to share and to give to the people to grow from. So that's awesome. Hey, we got another episode 5 in the books. Another great crossover. And if they did not know the name of the show, Coach made sure they knew the name of the show.
Crossover. Hey, a lot of people try to cross me over, and I stole their balls, right? I led the
I love your
I led the
defense.
nation in steals my senior year, man. Like, you real
Ah,
out
but
here.
you had those hands. All right, coach. All right, TV. You
Yeah,
had
I had
those
to get a little
hands.
quick with it, man. Hey.
We
Now,
appreciate, man, all of it. I want to just shout out some of our, hey, Creisha, we thank you for coming back. My classmate, long time ago, we grew up together. Hey, all those, I mean, like, you guys tuning in, Dr. Rochelle, tuning in, Alicia Vaughn, tuning in, Danielle. Hey, we appreciate you guys. Candace, as always, you've been tuning in lately. Gary, my boy Gary, tell wife Yvette, we said hi. Hey, we appreciate you guys because we're nothing. What's up, Shaka? It's all good. And we're gonna run it back. You can see the replay. It's all good.
yeah,
But we thank you guys because like Coach said, we're nothing. We want to give back, and it's not just about us. We want to give back to the people, and we're nothing without the people. So we appreciate the support as we bring this knowledge to the people. Right, T?
absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in for the support, man.
Hey,
Listen,
Coach V, man. Shout out to Coach V
yeah,
over
because
there in
he's slid
Dallas.
too.
Yeah,
Hey, look,
all the way in Dallas and
We had some of our
10,
TM5
10,
teammates slide on the podcast, man. So we definitely appreciate you guys. Nothing but love. It's all about being surrounded by genuine people and people that want to see you elevate. That's what
right,
it's all about.
right. Hey, another one in the book. We had a young lady from Ohio. I'm not sure, I forgot the name, but hey, we thank you guys from all over the country tuning in. That's what's up. Shaka, thank you, man. We thank you for tuning in and giving that support. We appreciate it. And we'll definitely link up too. I know we gotta link up, but yeah, we appreciate you guys. Until next time, hey, y'all stay low. Doc, we appreciate you, Doc. Keep shining bright to yourself. We spend blessings on all of you. Y'all stay safe and
Mhm.
positive. And remember this: don't let the game use the game. Don't let the game use you. Use the game. Don't let the game use you. The crossover.
Have a good night, people.